Hey, Pete Winarski here. How are you? Business Results Radio comes to you right here. Welcome. And I want to just share, I've been super frustrated lately. And I know you get what I mean. I don't need to go into all the details, but I know you felt that level of angst or frustration or anger or overwhelm or whatever in the past. So frustration is one of those energies that is trying to tell you something. It's not necessarily bad. Part of our experience of experiencing human emotions, it's one of the benefits we have as human beings over the plant life and the animal life, is that we actually have well-defined emotions. The thing is, we need to appreciate them and understand them and listen to them, because there's a message in there that happens when you're feeling that. It's like a little bit of a human GPS system that enables you to make some course corrections and some adjustments. By the way, if you ignore something like frustration, then obviously you're in a tough spot, because you're ignoring evidence or you're ignoring a message. And what that ends up doing is it makes things worse. In fact, the risk of not handling frustration or any of these negative emotions that we could label like overwhelm or anger or frustration or challenge, or and challenge is probably not even a good word to throw in there, but let's turn the frustration into a challenge. That's probably a better way to say it. But the risk, of course, is that we allow these negativity forces to take over, right? And it could end up being something that causes us stress that we can't handle. So remember, stress can be good or bad. Eustress is a positive stress to the system that enables you to then rise to the challenge. So there's that word that I just used a second ago about challenge. Versus distress, D-I-S, stress. Distress is bad. It's when we're feeling helpless and unable to rise to the occasion. So when there's distress in our bodies, it actually can cause other problems, right? Including health issues, including, severe health issues over a period of time, like cancer and heart attacks, etc. So let's not go in there for the moment, but just know that if you ignore the stress, ignore the source of the stress, the frustration in the first place, and don't handle or deal with whatever the sources are in the first place, then you're just asking for trouble. So just let's lay it out that way. You could be asking for trouble. So, dealing with really is something inside of you. It's not about other people. It's not about other situations. This is about you and the choices you make. So you could choose to ignore. You could choose to try to suppress and keep it down. You could choose to ignore the messages or the information that is attempting to come to the surface so that you can actually handle and deal with it. Or you can pay attention and see what's going on. So here are some things to think about, right? You need to go through this process. Frustration is a natural thing that happens, and there's a process or a cycle that goes with it. And if you attempt to suppress it or cut it off midstream, and it doesn't have a chance to work its way all the way through, you may find that it sticks around longer. This is the idea of allowing and then releasing. Allow it to go through its process. There's the course Breakthrough to Success that Jack Canfield has run for years, and I've been through many times as a participant and also part of his assistant team. One of the things he says on the first day is breakthrough to success. It's not avoid to success. It's not go around or under or over. You have to break through. You have to go through. You have to experience what it is and go through that experience and come out on the other side. And that's really what this is about too. Frustration is about you have to go through it, allow it to take its course, because it is a natural process. So here's the question. How can you speed that up because we're all people who don't really want to live in that negative place for very long. We want to get to a spot where we're more comfortable and we can work through, allow it to work through and get to the other side now, right? We're impatient. We want to get there ASAP right now. So with that in mind, first of all, just recognize that it is a natural cycle and you can go through it. Allow the frustration to be there in the first place. Hale Dwoskin, who is the creator of the Sedona method, talks about allowing and allow. So rather than resist and push against, let your resistance down and allow the frustration to be there. So that's helpful. Another point, once you've allowed the frustration to be there, go ahead and recognize, where are you experiencing the frustration? So where in your body, kind of scan from your head down to your toes, etc., and just say to yourself, where am I experiencing this frustration? And just notice it. So are you experiencing in your chest? Is it in your head? Is it somewhere else in your body? Sometimes you experience it and you have the sensations in, for example, your lower back. So identify, and it could be anywhere else, by the way, but as an example. So where it is, and just go through and identify and notice what is there where you're experiencing, because the frustration is not you. In some of the neuro-linguistic programming training or that I've been through, or Deb Sandella, Dr. Deb's RIM, R-I-M, Regenerating Images in Memory. There's a methodology that she teaches, and it's all about identifying where in your body you're experiencing this, and then recognizing it's different. It's not you. It's different from you. So can you give it physical dimensions and, if you think of auditory, visual, kinesthetic attributes to the frustration to help you identify that it's different from you. Some people say, oh, it's a ball and it's heavy and it's like a stainless steel ball and it's 2 inches around and it's really, really hot. Okay? That's not necessarily yours, but this is the type of thing that people can experience. So they go through and they identify. Usually this is facilitated, but you can do it on your own in this moment. Just relax, recognize where the frustration is in your body, and just notice what it is. And then ask yourself, what's the message that this frustration has for me? And that's a pretty critical question, right? What is the message? Because that's part of what's happening here, is you're feeling frustrated because you are experiencing something and there's a message for you. And maybe that message needs to be paid attention to with some actions that you can then take that would allow the frustration to move through more quickly. Right? Sometimes this is a message about course correction. Sometimes you have to do something different, right? You say, hey, this is your internal GPS saying, dude, you're doing the wrong things. You're stuck, and I'm trying to get you out of stuck. So go ahead and do the following differently, or address this issue that's come up. Stop ignoring it, whatever, right? So go ahead and go through some of those processes, right? So, in mindfulness, there's the idea of becoming present and grounded and be mindful of what you're experiencing. So as you're experiencing frustration, notice where it is in your body, allow it to be there, don't resist it, allow it, be grateful that it has a message for you, ask what the message is, say thank you, right? Express gratitude, and then just allow it to pass. And then it's on you, right? You have to then go do something and take action with that. So with that in mind, you go through that process. And what I like to do, in fact, what I did this week was some of what we just talked about. And then I actually broke away. So rather than the grind of, get to the office and, I just, for example, this week I was at a client, flew in, got home late at night, and rather than hurrying to get to the office the next day, I actually escaped and was in a coffee shop with a notebook, and I just started taking notes with this in mind. And my stress level and frustration level went down, 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 down as I started to just allow myself the space and to have some clarity of my thinking. So I allowed that to happen. I took notes. I scribbled out ideas. I thought about what needed to happen, and boom, boom, right? Then I'm grounded and in a spot where I can actually now do something with this energy and convert it, rise to the occasion, rise to the challenge, and convert it into something more positive and powerful that I can then get energized and excited about and spread that excitement around my team. So I encourage you to do some of the same things. Play with it, experiment with it. Certainly notice that your frustration is there to help you, not to hurt you, and then work through it. Go through the process and attempt some of these, play with them, some of these methods, and let's see if you can get on the other side as well.